Southern 7 Health Department and Head Start, making a difference in your community, one family at a time.
Hello everyone, my name is Shauna Ryan. I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator for Southern 7 Health Department. Today we're going to be talking with Crystal Crim and her son Alex Crim about Tourette Syndrome. A little bit about Tourette's, if you're not too familiar. Tourette Syndrome is a neurological disorder that affects about 1 out of every 133 Americans. And generally this affects most children between the ages of 6 to 17. So we're so glad to have you all here with us today and talking with us about this, and invite you to share whatever it is you want to share. Okay? First off, Crystal, let's start with you. What is Tourette's and how has it impacted your family?
Tourette's is a neurological disorder which usually has the child with a motor tic and a vocal tic, and they have to have both of those for at least a year to be considered to have Tourette's. And for us it was a huge learning experience because we had no idea what it was. There was no information on it. We didn't know what we were getting into.
Okay, now how many children do you have?
4.
Is Alex the first one that's been diagnosed?
Yes.
He is. Okay.
He is the only one with tics.
Okay. Alex?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for talking with us. You're such a polite young man. I'm so glad to meet you. This is exciting for me too. How old are you?
I am 15 years old.
You're 15. Can you tell us where you go to school?
I go to Vienna High School.
Very good. And we were talking earlier, you're a very busy guy.
Yes, ma'am.
What are some of the activities you like to participate in?
I enjoy getting into whatever I can. I am part of the Vienna High School football team as well as the wrestling team. I am part of Scholar Bowl, Beta Club, the Future Eds Club, Youth of Christ, and I am also part of the Pope County Junior Firefighter Division.
How do you have enough time for all of that?
Just time management and a bit of luck.
A bit of what? Well, I think a lot of it says about who you are and as a person as well as where you're going. So that's exciting. I'm glad to hear about that. What is your favorite thing about school?
My favorite thing about school, I would say, would be to meeting others. I just love connecting and talking with others, seeing how the life is, how it can help, and just being a part of other people's lives.
So you like helping other people and
Yes, ma'am.
impacting what they do. That's wonderful. Now, Alex, as you know, we're here to talk about living with Tourette's and how it's impacted your life. In your own words, what is Tourette's? How has it affected you?
I would say Tourette's is a neurological obstacle. Like any obstacle, you can't quite get rid of it. It is still there. However, it can be worked through and around. It can be managed, and it can be turned into something that you can use to help with others. To me, it just provides a challenge for my speech, and it something that helps to keep me humble.
Very good. You don't let it stop you,
No.
apparently. You just keep going and work through it. Do you know how old you were when you were diagnosed?
I would say 8 or 9, maybe. I was in third grade.
Okay, very good. And Crystal, when you found out about the diagnosis, did you go ahead and start talking to Alex about it? Was it something you included him in on?
Oh yes, he was included the entire time. We went to the pediatrician and she also suggested the same thing and sent us to a neurologist, and the neurologist is the one that diagnosed him with it.
Okay, does he have to go through any additional diagnoses or treatments right now?
No, not right now. When we first started, they do what's called Cbit Therapy, and it's a therapy that will help you to manage the tics. You also go to counseling to deal with the stress of having the tics because it's so new, and it's the coping mechanisms.
Okay. honestly, when I first met you, it was, I think it was more that you were nervous meeting us and trying to decide what to do here, but it's something that you don't notice after a while because you're such a personable and such, I want to say charismatic. You're just a really sweet guy. So you're doing very good. Thank you. Now, I think I know the answer to this next question. Does Tourette stop you from doing anything you want to do?
Tourette, no, it is not. Now, does it provide a bit of a deterrent? Yes, Emily does make things difficult, but I do my best not to let it stop me.
Good. That's wonderful. And just the mere fact that your family is so supportive, and I'm sure that your friends are, and your teachers,
Right.
your coaches, that makes a difference too.
It certainly does.
Very good. That's wonderful. Now, Alex, how do people respond to you when they know that you have Tourette's?
Strangers, they typically don't quite know what it is, what's going on. They typically think I'm a bit nervous, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes they do try to rush things a lot bit to talk over. But people I know they are generally more welcome and accepting and understanding, and do give me my time for the most part.
Very good. And yes, I was thinking in the beginning he was just really nervous.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to like your friends, your classmates, has anyone ever made fun of you?
A few times, yes. Not often though.
I know, sure, once they get to know you better, that's just
Certainly. Yes.
that's just who you are, and very accepting of that, and that's wonderful to hear. Now, people who have Tourette's, as we know, often have tics. Do you have any tics that you can share with us?
Yes, my tics was that when I talk, I tend to stutter, and I blink and cough a lot more and at more random times, even when I normally shouldn't have to. And then if I don't pay attention, I make noises in my mouth and rub my hands and arms together. Which really is one of the reasons why I tend to keep my nails a bit shorter.
So are you aware that these are happening?
For the most part, yes. Okay, with my hands and my vocal ones, those typically happen when I'm not quite fully invested or paying attention to something. So they typically go unnoticed for about 10 seconds maybe before I notice and stop it.
Because it's just part of who you are. Right, I understand that. How does it make you feel to have a tic?
It's a bit disheartening at times, and a bit difficult. But I think it's bit not too bad for me to have. I feel that it's made me a lot more humble and accepting of others and what's life going on with them and what's wrong with them, or at least what they think is wrong with them.
Well, and you bring up a very good point. We all have something that we're aware of that hinders us from doing things that we like to do, and this is just part of who you are, and you're special in that respect, and being able to handle it and know this is who I am, and we want people to accept you that way, and that's how you feel too. So that's good to hear. So Alex, what is the most important thing you want people to know about Tourette's?
I want people to know that it's not a choice to have it. It's not something that they can fully control of when they do start having their tics.
Okay, wonderful. It's just who you are.
Right.
Okay, it's part of who you are, just
Right.
like you've got brown hair. It's part of who you are. Exactly. Now, again, Crystal doesn't know I'm going to ask you this question, but what would you say to parents, or what would you say to a child? No, let's back that up. What would you say to parents with a child that's been diagnosed with Tourette's? How have your parents impacted your life?
They have made a great deal of being supportive and understanding of when I wanted to do something or was an instruction of encouraging me to do and giving me just small bits of advice that made a huge difference. as well as being the shoulder I needed to lean on. And I think that is critical for parents to do the same to their kids if they have Tourette's.
Very much so. Your parents are very supportive. Like we talked earlier, you're involved in so many things and activities and sports, and your parents are there with you. Your mom talks a lot about how she's taken you to matches and to things that are going on at school. I can tell she's very proud of you. Very, very much so. Okay, now Crystal, is there anything else that you would like to add?
I just want to add that there are so many resources out there, so when you're newly diagnosed, don't feel alone. There's Facebook groups. The doctor can help you out with getting local groups in your area, Tourette's Association. There's so many people out there that will help you get through this.
Very good. And that would be who you'd suggest they contact to learn more? Is there
Yes.
doctors? Okay, very good. All right, well, thank you. Alex, is there anything else you want to share today?
I will. Last thing I would want to say is don't let it drag you down. If you have Tourette's, still be you. Be involved in the things you love.
Okay, wonderful. That's good to hear. And we could all take that on anything, couldn't we? We
Yes,
could all take that advice. All right, well, thank you so much for coming and talking with us today, Alex. You are an inspiration. I'm sure your parents, everybody, and to me too. So it's nice to meet you. I hear a lot about you, so it's nice to put a face with a name. And Crystal, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention and making sure that we get information out there. Thank you to you all too for joining us today. If you do have any additional questions, you can contact Southern 7 Health Department. We'd be able to share information with you and tell you where best to get more information. Thank you so much.